Chubb gets up and hammers it home.
Luger bounces it inside to Mooney, who jams it home.
To a cutting Jogo for the two-handed jam.
It's to Fluger for the two-handed jam.
Swatted by Durham. Jams with two. Another rejection.
Hello again, Irish fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey and Coach. Two really good efforts this week. One here against Virginia Tech, another on the road against Florida State. Saturday, Monday turnaround, but you just couldn't come away with a victory.
You know, frustrating that we couldn't get either one of them. Two very good teams, two NCAA tournament teams in Virginia Tech and Florida State, but we battled and we put ourselves in position. We're not quite mature enough to finish and get over the hump against good teams yet.
But you have been mature enough to, at this point in a tough season, not to back off as a team.
No, I think it's a great group of kids, and you know, leadership is really defined when you're in a little bit of crisis mode, which we are. And I've been very pleased with Rex and TJ and Johnny setting the tone, and our guys coming out and going for it nightly still.
So when we come back, we'll return here to Purcell Pavilion to show you all the highlights of Notre Dame's game with 20th ranked Virginia Tech, the same Virginia Tech team that just beat number 3 Duke. Your final Saturday, Monday turnaround of the season, you hosted 20th ranked Virginia Tech right here on this floor. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead, but a really good defensive effort by your team would not let them put you away.
You know, we've guarded really in that game, and we've guarded well enough most of the year to have a chance. It's been our offense again, and we get off to a slow start offensively. I think you got to give Virginia Tech credit. They're a very good defensive team. But we're hanging around because our defensive effort, and we were turning them over. They turned the ball over, and so our D kept us around. Couldn't quite find the offensive rhythm we needed to beat a really good team.
Oh, and part of that is Tony Bennett's made the pack line defense famous everywhere he's gone, and now at Virginia. I thought Virginia Tech played the pack line against you better than Virginia did.
You may be right about that, Jack. They really do guard, and they jam up passing lanes. They make it very, very hard to drive it. You're going to have to shoot jump shots over the top, and we have not made enough jump shots over the top to be dangerous enough in this league.
One of your goals in this game was to really ramp up how you attack the basket, and it worked. You made 9 free throws, all 9 of your free throws in the first half, 15 of 16 for the game.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about before this game is playing faster, getting down the court. We practiced with a 20-second shot clock, and I think it helped us a little bit. I think it helped us even more for the Florida State preparation because it's something that we're learning. But, you know, it gets us to the lane, but maybe the biggest thing is it gets a young group of guys not overthinking things. You just got to play.
And the young guys are so important to the future. And record-wise, you've reached the point of the season where it's time to start focusing a bit on the future. So you've decided the young guys are going to play more. You may stick with them even longer than you would earlier in the season. So you're spending a lot more time with Leschewski, Goodwin, and Durham on the floor. Now, excusing a late foul on Durham, he had a really good half for you. 6 points, a block shot, and a steal.
Yeah, I mean, we've got him close to 100% healthy. That was a dagger losing him for 5 or 6 games the way he was playing, but I would like to see him finish with the momentum that he started the ACC season with. I think it's important for him to go into the offseason with some momentum, so we're committed to starting him right now and playing him.
In terms of physically competing, I think this may have been Nate Leschewski's best game. He had 12 points, including some really physical drives, and he also really defended well in the post.
I agree with you. Big step forward for him because that's been an issue guarding some of the physicality, and Blackshear is as good as they come in this league. But I thought his chest and his post defense was a little more of an upperclassman. He drove the ball, like you said, and, you know, for him to have some success and be more physical, I think is a key.
You've got a guy who has consistently played like a man. John Mooney in this game, his 17th double-double of the season, 12 points, 10 rebounds, and TJ Gibbs has not been as consistent as you would like him to be, but he's been on a roll. He had 18 points, 12 in the second half.
Well, I don't know what else to say about Johnny Mooney. He's just been a flat-out man for us and set the tone, and he's really a great story. If we were winning more, he would get more recognition, but that's the way it goes, and that's fair. TJ, I think, is trending back up after a tough January.
Prentice Hub, he's also a guy you need for the future. He's playing better and better every game. 7 assists in this game. Just the 4th freshman in your tenure to go over 100 assists as a freshman. But I also like his demeanor. You want Notre Dame guys to be gentlemen off the court, but on the court, he gives as good as he gets.
He really has a swagger. He believes, he's not afraid, and he has thoroughly taken over quarterbacking our team even as a freshman. His voice, his running of the team, it's his team. I'm very pleased with where he is at.
Is Hub better when he attacks the basket? Because I've noticed when he gets a couple of driving layups, the 3 starts to go down as well.
I think there's no question there's a correlation there, and one of the reasons we have put the 20-second shot clock kind of philosophy in is it makes him push the ball and get to the lane quicker, and I think it's going to help him overall.
Your guys never folded in this game. You kept the Tech lead to single digits for most of the second half, but one area that was disappointing and really hurt you got out-rebounded 49-27.
Yeah, they really beat us up on the board, and I thought their speed and strength beat us to the offensive board, which was a key. We would get that first miss, but we couldn't control it and couldn't rebound it. And that's been a little bit of a problem for us throughout the year, but was a glaring problem in the Tech game.
Well, the Irish didn't have a lot of time to worry about their 67-59 loss to Virginia Tech because they had to get on the road on Sunday and head down to Tallahassee to take on 18th-ranked Florida State, a team that had only lost 1 game on their home floor all year to Duke. All of those highlights are coming up right after this timeout. It has been the story of your season. You finally settle on a starting lineup, and then you lose Nick Jogo to an injury, a shoulder injury in the Tech game, so you have to switch things up again for Florida State.
Well, and it was tough luck with Nick, and we're dealing with his shoulder situation right now. But the silver lining is it allowed me to get Juwan Durham back in the starting lineup, where he was before his injury, and get him 24 minutes and get him into more of a consistent rotation.
And certainly a good team to get another big guy in there because State is so big.
They are big, and they are athletic, and they are coming at you physically. And I was thrilled with how we played, and I thought, Jack, the tempo that we wanted and have been working on, we saw that in that game. We were moving and getting down the floor.
Right from the beginning of the game. And DJ Harvey, it helps him. He scores your first 7 points. You take the lead 3 times in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I really think Harvey, Hub, and Gibbs benefit from this quicker tempo. We get down, we don't think, we get to the lane, and again, we got off to the ultimate good start against a good team on the road.
Harvey ends up scoring 11 in that first half. Prentice Hub scores 10 in the first half on a couple of threes and a couple of really aggressive, impressive drives.
Again, the tempo is forcing Hub to get it down the floor quick, and he's getting into the lane and making plays. It's helping him, it's helping us.
State did make that run late in the half, but one of the reasons you were tied is, here's that name again, John Mooney scores your last 6 points. He's become a big guy who is reliable to go. It's usually a guard's role, but he's a big guy that finds a way to score when you really need it.
He really does. He has answered every bell, whether we throw it to him in the post, shooting the jump shot, on the backboard. He's become a better defender. He has just become, as he goes into his senior year, an All-American candidate next year when he returns.
Now you start the second half on a 12-4 run to take an 8-point lead, and your team sent the message they were not going to back down regardless of how much pressure Florida State put on you or how physical the game became, and it was a really pphysical game.
It did become a little physical. We could have used a hand check or 2 on the road, but we know how that goes. But I loved our, we got that thing to 8. And, the play that sticks in my mind is that Nate had a 3 across from our bench to get it to 11. And if you're going to win a road game like that, you probably got to get it to 11 right there and then see if you can hold them off. We missed a 3. They come down and make a 3. And kind of the momentum swings after that.
You were still hanging around late, though. A little over a minute left when Terrence Mann, spectacular put-back jam that would have been a knockout punch for most, but a minute later, John Mooney with a driving, flying dunk, and you have it within 2 inside of a minute.
We've been there before, at North Carolina, at Virginia, good teams on the road where we put game pressure on them. We fouled, and we couldn't get the steal after cutting it to 2, and they made free throws to escape. But again, I love the demeanor we played with, and I think the tempo that we played with helped our demeanor be a little more confident and a little more downhill and not thinking.
So it was an aggressive effort for 40 minutes in Tallahassee. Ended up being a 68-61 loss, but it did have a lot of hope for the future in it. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at two of the reasons for that hope. Two guys from D.C. who played a huge role in this game, DJ Harvey and Prentice Hub. We'll dive into their play against Florida State right after this timeout. Earlier this season, Notre Dame honored the man who was the player who paved the path for basketball players from the Washington, D.C. area to Notre Dame, a path that came to be known as the D.C. Pipeline. And it was the two most recent Irish players to arrive on campus by traveling that pipeline that made it possible for Notre Dame to have a shot at upsetting 18th-ranked Florida State on Big Monday. DJ Harvey and Prentice Hub combined for 35 points against Florida State, but it was much more than just their scoring. That I think it was their best combo game of the year. And again, we all forget, these are two guys coming off major knee injuries. So the future's very, very bright. They're going to get better just by healing up.
Well, I'm looking forward to them having a summer of not rehabbing an injury, but actually working on their game and their strength training. You know, that's going to be important for them. But that was encouraging because we feel they're both very gifted. Obviously, they're both very young and inexperienced, but I thought they played with a swagger the other night, and I hope we can continue that down the stretch.
I went nuts on one play DJ made, the mid-range jumper. I screamed, I love it, because I don't think anybody can stop that shot.
Well, he is a very good mid-range shooter, and we try and get him touches and shots there. But you're right. I mean, he does not need to go into that traffic all the time. He can stop, and he's got the athletic ability to rise up over people, and that's a weapon for him.
When Prentice Hub is aggressive, driving the ball early and has some success, he seems to relax then beyond the arc, and the shot from out there is just much more accurate.
I agree with you. I think, he's always been a guy that's been able to get to the bucket and get to the lane. He's got some athletic ability. He's got some craftiness around the basket. Again, this quicker tempo makes him get down the floor and take advantage of, a 5-on-4 or a 4-on-3 situation early. We want him to continue playing like that.
We've talked about the need to get to the point you can consistently make the plays in the closing minutes of games. These are two guys that are going to have to start doing that. How can they build on what they have done recently to get to that point?
Yeah, we definitely could use that before this season ends, for those guys to make some plays down the stretch to win, especially against a top division team. We've got Louisville coming up and Clemson, two NCAA tournament teams. I think if you could once you get a win against a good team, sometimes your confidence and your psyche changes altogether.
Against Florida State, DJ Harvey scored 18 points and Prentice Hub 17 points, each 1 point off their respective career highs. Harvey added 2 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a blocked shot. Hub grabbed a career-high 7 rebounds while dishing out 3 assists with 1 steal. These performances earned Harvey and Hub this week's Notre Dame Ticket Exchange, powered by Vivid Seats, Performance of the Week Award.
Gibbs driving left side of the lane in the corner. Harvey 4-3. Got it! Hub dribbling to his left. Step back 3. Got it! Hub is in fuego. To Gibbs, back to Hub. Hub for 3, right side. Got it! Prentice Hub with his 3rd 3-point field goal of the game. By Gibbs ahead to Harvey. Harvey gets all the way to the hoop, lays it up and in. It's 24-17 to Harvey on the baseline. 15-foot jumper is good. I love it.
This week's Ask Coach Brey question and the Inside Notre Dame Basketball Fast Break are coming up right after this timeout. It's time now for the experts at TireRack.com question of the week for Coach Brey. This week's question comes from Alex Toth of Mishawaka, Indiana. Coach, what are your goals for the rest of this season?
For us to continue to play fast on offense and continue to guard. This group has always stuck their nose in there and defended, even when their offense isn't going well. So that I like that about this group. But can we pick up the pace and get our tempo? And can we get on a little bit of a run? Could we get a win or two before we head to Charlotte to be more confident when we're in Charlotte?
In his last 3 games, Prentice Hub has dished out 19 assists. Today, he dishes out the questions to fellow freshman guard Robbie Carmody on this week's Inside Notre Dame Basketball Fast Break.
Hi, welcome to the Notre Dame Basketball Fast Break, and I'm Prentice Hub here with Robbie Carmody. So what's your favorite food?
Chick-fil-A, spicy chicken sandwich.
So the people have been wondering, how do you put lotion on your back?
It's tough. I gotta put it on this side of my hand and rub it.
Another question, do you get your shoes pre-tied for you?
I have not tied my shoes one time since I've been hurt myself.
Dream 3-on-3 team.
Probably Nate Lashevsky and Liam Nelligan.
Your favorite musical artist?
Green Day.
Who?
Green Day.
Who?
Green Day.
Song you're listening to right now that you wouldn't want others to know that you're listening to it.
Lip Gloss.
By who?
I don't know.
Is it by Green Day?
No.
Oh.
You know that song.
Mm-mm. Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
Best Fortnite player on the team?
Robbie Carmody.
Best dancer on the team?
Probably Nate.
Worst dancer on the team?
Probably me.
Way to be honest. Best singer on the team?
Dane Goodwin.
So question, when have you heard Dane sing? Because he doesn't sing in the locker room.
Doesn't matter where.
Favorite Coach Brey line?
Bring your own energy.
Favorite Coach Humphrey line?
Seriously?
Favorite Dane Goodwin pregame line? I was going for, we'll get there. Best defender on the team?
Rex.
Best dunker?
Me.
You can't dunk right now, so best dunker.
I'll go dunk right now.
Best dunker?
Me.
Fastest on the team?
Me.
Slowest on the team? Also you. Next question. Wow. Funniest on the team?
P-Hub.
That's all, folks.
By the way, this segment was shot in January, so don't be concerned that Robbie was wearing his sling during the fast break. Trainer Skip Meyer told me Robbie is making great progress in his recovery from shoulder surgery and should be set to go when summer school begins in June. We'll take a look at the renewal of Notre Dame's rivalry with Louisville and the final regular season home game against Clemson right after this timeout. It has been one of the most entertaining collegiate rivalries in all of college basketball since the mid-2000s. Here are some numbers. Since Notre Dame and Louisville became conference opponents in 2006, the two teams have played 18 times with the total point differential 2 points. Notre Dame has scored 1,350 points. Louisville has scored 1,348 points, with the Cardinals holding a 10-8 advantage in wins. And of course, as you remember well, 8 of the games have gone to overtime, including last year's meeting.
It's really been amazing how the games have been great. And I know it because obviously Louisville fan base is rabid. And when I run into them, all they want to talk about is Notre Dame games and all the games. So we expect another crazy one in the Center on Sunday.
And then you're coming home here for a 9 p.m. Wednesday game, final regular season home game of the year against an athletic, talented Clemson team that is fighting for a bid.
And Clemson is old and tough and really guards you. An amazing challenge for us. And, it'd be great for us, for our fans, to get them a win. They have watched us and been so great with us, supporting us. But we haven't won enough here. It'd be great to finish with a win in this building.
We hope when we come back next week that we will be showing you at least one, if not 2 victories. All the highlights of the Louisville and Clemson games will be right here next week. Until then, for Coach Brey, I'm Jack Nolan. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, go Irish.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners, Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also brought to you by Vivid Seats, Canon, Xfinity, Nissan, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, and SiriusXM.